Welcome to the non-existent, boring street scene power hour. That is not true because we are here to invade your homes once again with me, Greg Roten, co-host Larry Ward, other co-host Rick Guerrera, and
I made it this week.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Mister, you would rather go out to eat than hang out with us. That's real cool. You know? Yeah.
Up at Barry Dingle, probably.
Yeah. But Dingleberry or
I was at a Shaker. I was down Shaker's eating some ribs.
Yeah, well, yeah, we see what's priority, your stomach. So right now we want to welcome Shawn Piros from the Hollywood Knights. We're going to talk about the upcoming car show with the Hollywood Knights and our friend Mark Cole from Mark Cole Insurance Agency. Welcome both of you to the Street Scene Power Hour. And Rick, let's start off. Let's do a little preview. What's coming up? A little recap what we've done here on Street Scene and what in the car world here.
Well, we're airing right now the old show, the Oldsmobile show, which wasn't. Turned out it looks good on air. I love it on air, but it was a horrible day. It just poured raining in the morning, and those guys usually get. They said about 125, 150 cars, and how many you think were there, Greg?
40. Yeah,
40. Yeah. And a lot of the good ones didn't show up because they said, "Oh, I'm not taking them out in the rain." You know, a lot of the members.
But you know what? You want to watch the show? Tune into the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel YouTube because there are the car that sticks out of my mind on that one is the turbocharged Olds. That is a rare car, and you have to watch the show even just for that one.
The Jetfire, wasn't it?
Yes.
The Jetfire, yeah. That was something I'd never heard of before.
Yeah. It's an interesting concept.
He said he got one of what, 5 now?
There's 10 known to exist, and that's one.
That's one of them. Yeah,
one of 5 4-speeds or something, and that's one of them.
Yeah, that was a pretty unique car there. Never heard of it. And I think the one that really was nice was Rick's pick there, that 58 wagon. That Oldsmobile Fiesta, boy, that was really cool.
Wagons are hot now.
Yeah.
They're coming back. Remember when we were all growing up? You looked at a wagon and going, "Oh my God, you're driving a station wagon. It's got wood grain sides, and Now it's like, man, I would love to have a wagon.
Sure, that one was a beautiful one. He rebuilt it. He redid everything on. After he lost his other one, he had a 58 before that, a red one, and it was under fire or something.
Yeah, his garage caught on fire and it burned right to the ground.
And then he said, "Oh, there goes my wagon." And then he found one somewhere down south, and he rebuilt the whole thing. It took him a couple of years, and he found all the parts. What a beauty that was! I loved it. And that one fellow with his what was that? That convertible, what was that? It wasn't a Cutlass. The red one with the white interior, the white top.
Oh, that was a 88 Rigid. That was a Delta
88. But that was sweet. 180,000 miles on that thing. It was 280,000. Yeah.
Well, that's just for a wagon, right? That's what you're supposed to do is drive them.
Yeah. I don't know how much the wagon had on it. It was cool. It was a red 70, what was it, 71?
72, 71, something like that.
Yeah, it was a Delta 88 convertible. Yeah, and it struck me because my buddy had one in high school exactly like that. Red with white top, interior white top. His had a 455 in it at the show, and my buddy's had a 350. But it just brought back some memories of cruising with the top down on that thing.
The guy was a real character, too. He was really fun to interview and just to talk to. And he drove us from Cincinnati, I think he said, right? Or Columbus,
It's a driver.
Yeah, it's a driver. He showed us all the places it's been. He has them all written down and typed out. And it was really cool.
That's better than some of the Volkswagens going up and down to Geneva.
Yeah, well, anyway, we won't mention that, will we, Larry? Well, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, we also this past weekend we didn't record this show, but hopefully next year, right, Greg?
We'll try.
We'll try. We're going to try the bug infestation up with Geneva on the lake. That was you guys you guys twisted my arm to go there. I'll tell you that.
I don't think we even asked you to go to that one, Rick.
He just
You weren't
showed
even
up.
invited.
Well, James said German cars were invited, so I got there. I think
I
I
just
was
heard
one.
somebody mumble, "Who in the hell invited him?"
Yeah.
I think I was one of two different cars there. There was a Porsche there, and there my BMW. So
There was a couple
Sweet
Beamers
car.
there. You know,
was there a couple Beamers?
you know, you weren't the only one that was felt like, you know, finally I got Rick feeling like an outcast, you know, right there.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I get no respect with
Well,
that car.
here's
No
here's the thing. I'm thinking you could take that bug of yours and apply to membership to the Hollywood Nights. What do you think?
No,
Or is that
see,
like the rapid?
No, that's not our.
oh, well, you mentioned that car club again, Larry. You know, they're
There
going
we
to kill
go.
me.
Hey, they're over.
American made
PX.
rear wheel drive. American made rear wheel drive. That's all.
Well, I got two of those too, so we'll do that.
There you go. You can get that. What is that? An Impala you got?
I got that 79 Caprice, and then I got my 68 LTD. So we're good. We're good to go.
Speaking of Hollywood Nights, Shawn's going to have a show coming up here September 24th. It's in Lordstown. What's that?
That's the 25th.
25th.
Oh, I got the 24th. Okay.
Oh, well,
25th.
you can come on the 24th, Rick. Why don't you just, I tell you what.
Help clean up and everything, you know.
Yeah, you can help
that's
set
the
up
way
because it's
What
the
is that, a Saturday?
24th, right?
Is that a Saturday?
Sunday.
Sunday? Okay.
show
Sunday,
up on the
September
24th.
25th.
Hey, Rick,
Yeah.
you're 0 for 2 now.
Yeah.
Well, wait, I don't want to throw something back at Greg. I'll just keep my mouth shut about it's the dates, wrong
Yeah,
dates.
'cause
Greg.
I've got so much up my sleeve to throw back at you right now, Rick.
Oh,
Oh,
what day was our car show on? The 24th or the 25th? Some said the 25th. Some said
Yeah.
the 24th.
Well, you know, you got me back when you didn't even get an interview from me, so I won't let you live that one down.
Nice. Hey, you know what else is coming up too for you motorcycle fans? This is really neat. It's going to be at the Soap Gallery over on Champion Street.
Right.
It's a motorcycle show.
Right down by the Cavelli Center, right downtown.
Is that where it's at?
Yep.
Okay.
It's
And
right
You
across
guys,
there.
if you remember when we had Larry Smith, Rabbit, he did a whole photo exhibit gallery of all of his photos from the 60s and 70s down at the Soap
Nice.
Gallery. And it was well received. So, yeah, I definitely attended.
Do you think this is going to be outside? It says
Well, I think
Champion
the
Street.
motorcycles, I think they'll all be lined up on the street.
Yeah, they have to be. Again, the soap galleries are really cool. If you haven't been down there, it's a really
angles
neat
in.
museum to see. We went down there. We did actually a special show here on the neighborhood channel when they first opened, and it was really cool. They had big plans for it, and they succeeded in that the soap gallery, and it's really cool to go down and see. It's right across from the Cavelli Center, right on Champion Street. It's downtown.
okay.
It's right there.
Okay.
They'll have it on the street there. They usually I know they've had bands down there before, so it'll be something to go see. Definitely.
Yeah, that's the Rust Belt Revival guys are putting that on. Tony Nichols. Hopefully, we'll have him on our next show if he gets back with me. And that show is going to be from 2 until 9 o'clock on September the 17th.
That's a long time. Yeah, so that's good.
So a couple weeks.
That is a long time.
Hey, and then don't forget the Rust Belt Revival. That's on what's that? October the 7th. So that's downtown Youngstown there. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
It's a Sunday.
It is not October the 7th. That's a Friday.
I'm sorry. It's Sunday, October the 9th.
The 9th.
Oh,
Man.
my goodness.
Here, wait a
There we
minute.
go. I just read that.
0
wrong.
for 3.
I got it right here.
Rick,
Where is it? Can you
here's
see
all
it?
the one. I've been keeping track of all the times you
Okay.
screwed up. See?
Oh,
It's right
thanks
here.
a lot.
It's like
You need a bigger page than that, Greg. It's October 9th. Let's see if I can get this. It's getting tapped out here.
October
Yeah,
9th.
that's October 9th downtown Youngstown, Boardman Street in Youngstown, right near Penguin Beer.
Penguin Brewing Company.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get some beers when we go down there. Huh?
Yeah, it's all you ever asked for, Rick.
Hey, I got one at the old show. Those guys treated me like a king. Let's go back next year, huh? Tony was over there. He said, "Come on, Rick, I got the coldest beer for you in town. Let's go."
Oh, man. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Sure.
So what else we got going on?
You know what? You know what else I want to say? Something I'm really looking forward to my personal self is the Hershey Fall Meet this year. It's October 4th through the 7th. Yeah, it's on Tuesday. It's on Tuesday this year till Friday, 4th through the 7th. Wow. It's usually on Wednesday to Saturday, but I guess they got something going. Someone told me that they're colliding with the park on the weekends and the parking and all that. The Hershey Park there. So it's on Tuesday the 4th. Through Friday the 7th. I love it. There's so many vendors there and everything. And my one buddy I go with, we got to hit every vendor. Last year we put 26 miles on my feet. 26 miles in 3 days.
Oh, yeah. Quite the history of Hershey, Pennsylvania, too. Quite the history.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my favorite day is the last day when they have the car show. And boy, these cars are just beautiful. All these antiques they have in there. They have about 1,000 cars. It's really nice. Mm-hmm.
Neat.
Well, you know what? Well, I want to mention we did go up to the bug infestation. Mm-hmm. Rick, Larry, and I went up. So we all, Larry, my son, and I drove up. And that is a nice show. Even just to go up there and hang out for the day, it was really nice, and it was by the lake. So you can't.
What a great setting, huh?
You know, I was thinking of this on the way back. You know you have to get there early, and I wish I'd gotten there early because the best parking on that whole place, if you park by the lake, you could have put a chair out and just sat by the lake the whole time.
I did that.
Because there was a row right there. If you got there early, you got to park there. It was really a neat show, and they got a huge turnout. I
tell you what,
over 250 cars.
Yeah.
Good, Mark.
And I got to say,
good, Mark.
Yeah, when you see 300 to 400 we had in the past, I've worked that show, Volkswagens. I mean, when we go to regular car shows, you're seeing a lot of the same type of cars. But when you get up there and just even a Chevelle and a Ford guys, they're like, wow, this is different. And you can walk around, on the strip, get some Eddie's hot dogs or whatever you want to do. I mean, it's a fun ride up, fun ride back. Only an hour away, but I tell you what, they do a good job up there.
Well, if you're like me and you were driving, my son drove my 65 Herbie, the Love Bug replica, and I drove my 61. We took our time up 530 Ford. We're following Larry, so it took us about an hour and a half to get up. So we took it slow, but that's a really nice ride to go up 530 Ford.
And we had a little.
I went up 11 first, but that's faster. But going 45 is a lot nicer. Yeah.
We stopped by the meat locker on the way up and picked up some beef sticks and stuff like that. But I got to tell you, Greg has done a tremendous job with that 61 and 65. A lot of people were remarking about how those two cars, both owned by the same guy, but how cool the replica car was. There was a lot of positive comments.
There was two Herbies there. There was two Herbies there.
Yeah, but if you look at Greg's, there is a remarkable difference.
Thank you very much.
Oh, beautiful.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was fun because that's. I was thinking that my 65 that I restored. I'll just hit on this quickly. That was the first time it's been driven by somebody else since I restored it in 1998. So my son drove it, and the 61. Well, that's the first road trip it's had, and I guarantee it's since the 70s. Because when I got it, it had been off the road since 1979. So obviously it hasn't been. That was the first long road trip, and it was flawless. And then I get to Canfield on the way back, and the throttle cable breaks on the 65 bug. So I had to limp it home.
It's part of owning an old car.
But they did wonderful.
We all laugh about, it's only 60 miles, like you said, Rick. It's only 60 miles. But let me tell you, last year, when that bug gas tank kept plugging and I broke 5 different times, that and all the way back and all the way up and all the way back this year with that newer Beetle, man, I'll tell you what, I was like, I didn't listen to anything except no hiccups, no burps, no nothing. Yep. And it was so I felt like I vindicated myself. I went up and back a short 60 miles, 125-mile round trip. And, man, I was worn out by the time I got home from work.
Well,
but
it was one of those things that me and my son got back, and it's a workout. I forgot how in those older cars, we were hot, we were sweaty. You know, you're constantly shifting, trying to get up and down hills. And I got home like, man, I am worn out. I am tired from driving. And then the next day, me and my wife went up to Akron and I took my BMW, and I'm like, man, this was nothing because I had air conditioning and
I had fun in my Beamer. I'll tell you, Beth and I cruised up. We had the top down, going 80 miles.
No worries.
No worries. Radio blasting and air conditioning.
What radio? I don't even have one in that car. I got the delete plate right there. There's nothing in it. I don't even have gas gauge, and I almost forgot to check about gas until I think Larry said something, or somebody said something. What about gas on the way home? I'm like, oh yeah, I got to look in the tank because I don't have a gas gauge in that car.
Which one? The red one?
Yeah, there's no gas gauge. You have if you know your old bugs, there's a speedometer. That's it. There's nothing else. So there's no gas gauge, there's no radio. So you got no gas. You open the tank and look down there in a flashlight and see how much gas you got in the tank.
I'll tell you what, though, Greg, your paint was flawless. Especially on white's kind of easy, but red, the kind of red that you had, I mean, there's no ripples, no nothing. I don't know. You did an exceptional. That's why I was hoping you'd paint my Corvette.
No, not fiberglass. Forget it.
That sounded like he was buttering you up there. What?
Yeah, I know how. That's how Larry works.
That's it too.
Yep, I see how it is.
You got to watch that old man there.
The magic of wet sanding. That's all I can say. I'll get the run out after wet sanding it. And using urethane paint instead of base clear. I didn't use base clear on that. So, but you know what? We've got, Larry, I want to throw it to you, a little bit of wrap up what's coming up, and then we'll get into Mark and Shawn here on the podcast.
A wrap up for me. I'm in the middle of, I tore the Himalayan apart and I'm changing the suspension and the gearing on it. And I'm going to take a trip to North Carolina. So one of the things about that is it's a new old bike. So if you buy a Royal Enfield, you have to like to work on things, even though they're newer. They have old technology, but at least the metal.
Is that what the Himalayan is?
On it?
Yeah, is that what the Himalayan is?
Yeah, it's like an adventure off road kind of bike, but more on the road. But for fire trails, going through some creeks, easy stuff. No single track, no jumps.
So it's a Royal Enfield Himalayan.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just want to get that straight.
So after I bought the shock and had it shipped all the way from England, then I realized after I took everything apart that, crap, you got to take the airbox out. And I'll tell you what, that is no mean feat. I mean, it probably took 2 hours to get all the components, the electronics, everything out of it to get the airbox back so I could get to the shock upper bolt. But I did find some things. The bike is a quality bike, but sometimes it's just like in America. It may be a Friday before a holiday. Don't buy the bike on a Friday, one that's built on a Friday before a holiday. Because, you're going to have like little things that weren't put on properly so yeah, it's kind of good, but I enjoy the bike, and I go out to Corey's shop and his wife happened to remark, and you're going to like this, Rick and Greg. She come to me and she goes, there's an awful lot of your stuff there. Corey's got like 7 golf carts. You've got 5 motorcycles, a Corvette, a trailer. And I go, oh yeah, but all of that is for Corey's benefit. Yeah. That way I'll be able to haul things for him and stuff. She goes, oh, I thought he had friends that did that. And I go, oh, now he has his father to help him.
Yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you. But his swap meet's coming up in 2 weeks. So I've got a couple of vintage bikes I'm going to be bringing out there, and I'll probably take the Corvette out because it needs painted. So if I can sell it, okay. And if not, then I got a buddy that's going to paint it for, I think no more than $2,000, but he's going to repaint it white, but we're not doing the door jams. They're okay and all that, but just base white. But it's a little bit of a special car. It's a first year C4, so it means it's 1984.
Why don't you wrap it?
And it's a Z51, which has got the high performance suspension, but it's such a high performance one that, with those mouthpieces you wear when you play football, that's what you really need to wear around here. If you hit a bump, you're going to lose some feelings, But I'll tell you what, I can put that thing around a bend and it will sit flat. There's no roll on that car.
And you got the crossfire injection in that. Do you have the crossfire injection?
And you know what? I've had a 84, 85, 89, 93, and a 94. then when you start to get past 91, they all have OptiSpark and they're LT motors. You'd have to get a little later into the 90s to get the LS motor, which is a great motor. But the L98 is TPI injection, and the 84 is Crossfire, and the 82 is Crossfire. But a lot of people, the reason why people bitch about them, go on the internet, that's because somebody that doesn't know anything tries to do something on it, and then they screw them up. You got to realize it's 2 throttle bodies. It's just like 2 carburetors, just like balancing 2 carbs on a motorcycle.
And they're opposed, right? So
they're offset. Yeah. And there's a lead, and then there's a secondary. Yeah. And so I just put my carb tune on it. It's a manometer, and I'll set one carb, set the other carb, and then put them back together, and then there's an idle linkage, and I can adjust that up or down. And I'll tell you what, I'm really surprised at how well it runs. I think it would run with an L98, even though it's probably 10 horse down.
I always say that it's all how you put the power down to the road. There's a lot of these cars that have no horsepower, but it's the way you plan it to the pavement that makes all the difference.
Larry, did you ever think about getting it wrapped?
Yeah.
You know what?
You don't have to worry about wet sanding or anything,
Yeah, I don't think that you can wrap a Corvette for $1,500 to $2,000. I think it's going to probably be 3 or 4.
Yeah, my friend of mine was going to get hers done, and it was like $3,000. Yeah, but it's almost perfect though. It's like comes out perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this here has got where you would have to do body prep before you wrapped it. And that's the problem, because somebody had painted it at one time, and the clear coat and the top coat is coming off and leaving the base coat, and sometimes almost into the fiberglass. So it's not a candidate, I don't think, for a wrapping job. One of my friend's son, Quinn Wenzel, who's a professional hard enduro racer, he does wrap, and I can't believe he did it on he did it. He's got one of those high-end Ford pickups. It's got like a turbo in it. It's a V6 with a turbo Raptor. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I would never, ever be able to do that. It is so tedious. And then, you're taking a little razor blade, making a teeny little cut. Oh, no.
Get the heat gun and everything. It's an art. It's an art.
I don't know how they do that.
And it turns out almost perfect if you're good at it,
Oh, yeah.
You can't tell if it's a different shell.
He took his whole truck and made it a different color. I couldn't believe it. It was a gray, and then he made it a real dark gray. It was like, holy God. I didn't know he did it.
And then if you want to sell it and someone says, hey, I want the original color, you just
peel it off.
Peel it off. Heat it off. Yep.
Yeah, but you're right. It's just like putting window tint on, how they... It's an artwork. Before Corey moved into this facility, the guy in there had a high-end window tint. And he would pre-stretch the stuff on racks. I never knew any of that stuff. I thought you just squirt it and then squeegee it and cut it. No. But he makes a lot of money. Another good guy as far as body prep, everybody knows Michael Sotomora from Prestige, So
let's not talk about Michael. He's been avoiding coming on the show here. I've been trying to get him. And come on, really? Mike, come on. Oh yeah.
Just tell him you want to talk about the Corvettes.
Oh yeah, I saw him at the Oldsmobile show. He had his detail stuff set up there, and he's got a high-end detail shop.
Oh man, let me tell you, he has that ceramic stuff. He handed me a can of ceramic wax, a little can like that.
Yep,
$600 and some. I couldn't believe it. And then, it's like anything else. It's all prep. Yeah. Prep it right, and it comes out great. But I'm heading at the end of the month. I'm going to North Carolina. I'll probably stay down there 5 days, and then I'll start my journey to Alabama, and I'll head over to Alabama. So I'll probably be gone 2 weeks, Okay. And things are working out. I've been doing some exercises at these surgeons and the other guys and they actually have been working on this herniated disc. So I'm feeling better. Good. I can actually walk like a normal person. So I think by the end of the month, I'm going to keep working at it, and I'm going to go if I can,
Good. Let's get into Shawn. Shawn, we'll start off with you. You got the Hollywood Nights car show coming up, and we're excited to be there for Street Scene, and touch on it. That's coming up pretty quick, Shawn. So give us some background on it.
Sure thing. We have done as a club, we do a lot of club events. We do a lot of we do like racing events. We've run out Quaker City Raceway. But we do have car show guys in our club. So last year we decided to do the car show instead of any kind of track event. And it was such a hit last year. We kind of got overwhelmed with it. And, it was going to be a one and done kind of deal. And, you always get so stressed out, days before the car show. I mean,
sure. Looking at the weather.
Oh, yeah.
Stresses me out.
Around here.
I'd start 10 days before and we do our show.
Right.
I'm going, oh boy.
So, and once everything was done and over with and everybody was left and, we're like, you know what? I think we could do this again next year. So.
You got to tweak it. Every year you tweak it. Change something and make it better. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And it's not easy. There's a lot of work that goes into these things,
Yeah.
People don't realize that.
We have, we actually got radios for parking.
Oh,
we got crew for parking because that was a little bit congested last year.
Do you have any beer for the street scene crew when we record?
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, Rick. I knew you were going to say that. Next thing, here's what's going to happen with Rick next time. He's going to have his list of brews that he wants. And says, if you want us to come to your car show, here's a list of brew or beer that I want there.
I just want scotch, that's all.
Jeez. Oh, let's make it more expensive for them. Aren't they supposed to be raising money for something? Right?
Oh, heck yeah.
We're raising money for Angels for Animals again this year.
Oh, yeah, Rick, take it away from the pets and the dogs. Thanks a lot, Rick.
I'm sorry.
Let's feed Rick beer instead of feeding the animals.
We raised over $5,000 last year.
Wow, that's great.
Good.
That's great.
And that has a lot to do with our Chinese auction. We have people that donate. Even our members will go out and buy something and donate it from, say, their own company. Maybe they own one guy just recently purchased one of the Master Blasters, the air car dryer.
Nice.
It's kind of a high-end item. Another person bought a $300 Summit gift certificate.
Nice.
See, these are going to kind of be the things that are up. We have multiple different bourbon baskets.
Oh, Rick,
you're going to like that.
So you're going to have to donate it to you. Forget it. You don't have that as an auction item anymore. Rick shows up, you just hand it to him.
Don't worry. I'm 0 for 4 with the Chinese auctions. You know that. The last 4 shows I went to, I played, never won anything. So
wow. Well, yeah, hopefully this time, there's going to be of items, and they range. We have, of course, we have dog baskets because of the show. We have alcohol baskets. You got to be 21 or older to win them. Like myself, I build car part lamps, and
nice.
One of them. And then I hand build all the trophies. So, and then we do the trophies a little bit different. We got a little bit of grief just from one person.
There's always one. There's always one.
Somebody. Yeah.
You just got to ignore that.
Yeah. He come up to me at a show. It was another show after ours. And he's like, wow, that was such a great show. This and that and this and that. But you need to have more categories.
Oh, no. You know what?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, Shawn. From doing our show, they are always going to say that. You could have 100 trophies, but if you don't win a class, they're going to complain. So you know what? Ignore it. Right.
Exactly. Because I had my VP was with me, and he goes, well, I'm not coming this year. And I said, well, I look forward to not seeing you.
Boy, I tell you, there's sometimes I'd love to say that.
But,
you're always going to get those guys.
We're going to do 5 again this year.
Okay.
And we're naming them a little bit different. Like I have one that's actually propping up my phone right now. It's called Scorched Earth Trophy. It's going to be for the best patina.
Nice.
The parts from this trophy were involved in a garage fire of a friend of ours. He's like, hey, come through, pick out what you want. If you see something that's going to be cool for a trophy, go ahead and have it.
Awesome.
So it's a cool look trophy. I just finished that up actually 10 minutes before we started the show. So I got to get on it. So we look forward to it. You know, it's you guys coming out and filming. That's broadcast quite a bit. And we had over 200 cars for our first show.
Perfect. Wow.
So we're looking to have hopefully double that, but at that location we're going to be a little tight.
Right.
That's September 25th, correct? September 25th.
Yes.
Times for the show.
It's 11 to 3.
Okay.
We do have food vendors, same as last year. We had a barbecue. I'm going to read them off here. Hoghead and Chickies Barbecue.
Nice.
They were sold out last year.
Wow.
The same with, I always pronounce this kind of crazy, Majavix. They do a lot of your fairs, your, your steak sandwiches and so forth. And they were sold out. This year we didn't want to get too many because then it kind of takes away from the cars. This year we added a frozen custard.
Nice.
Let's get a dessert in there.
Yeah. Got to have that. We added that as well with one hot cookies for our show. We added dessert. So yeah, that was a nice addition. So that's a good one.
I thought that was going to be a girl when you said that at first. But then you find
of
out
course, Rick, you and beer, and
I thought the one hot cookie. You said the one hot cookie is going to be.
Her name is not Cookie, Rick. No.
Sounds like a pole dancer, doesn't it? One hot cookie.
Of course.
We have that. That's the behind the million.
We'll get back to you, Shawn, real quick. If you want to know somebody that's really into the car realm, motorcycle realm in this area, and also sells insurance, it's Mark Cole. He is involved with every angle of the car guys, the motorcycle guys, and we couldn't have somebody better to represent insurance and the car and motorcycle realm as Mark Cole. So welcome, Mark. We want to welcome you here.
And we're lucky he's here.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you want to, we had Mark on before, but
we had him on a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah. But things have changed a little bit, and Mark, I don't know if you want to get into that. If not, fine. We'll bypass it. But
no, I don't mind.
Okay, Mark, you might have some warnings for the motorcycle riders out there. You just had an experience, I'll let you get into it, of something that probably changed your outlook on a lot of things.
Changed your life, sure.
Yes. On June 18th, a friend of mine went out for a ride on the Harleys and just cruising down through Chardon, Ohio and everything. And some person came out of nowhere and lost control of his car, flipped, ended up hitting both of us. Actually killed my friend instantly and flung us 30 yards. I mean, I ended up with thank God I'm alive and talking to you guys right now. And
thank God you're here.
Yeah, thank God I'm here. I just, keep praying for my friend's wife, family, kids, because it's so difficult for them. I mean, I suffered a broken arm where the forearm, all the broken ribs on the left, separated shoulder, collapsed lungs, bleeding spleen. But they life-flighted me, got me, under control in University Hospital, did a great job, went to Hillside Rehab for a little while. And then, now it's just going to take months longer to try to heal the shoulder and stuff up. But I just want to tell everybody, just, be careful. There's just so many people with distracted driving today, whether you're in hot rod, whether you're on your bike. It's just the animals or another situation. I mean, it just seems like people are in a hurry and they're not paying attention. And they think they could hit that brake quick and stop, but it doesn't always work. And, so as you get out, give yourself a lot of distance. When you're coming up to a red light, we kind of, was right at the red light there. A person was turning, but we were just right on the outside a little bit. But try to have protection. Try to be behind, knowing that if something happens, what's your escape route, which way you're going to go. This happened within 2 seconds, 1002, boom. And, we were, there's nothing we could have done. Okay. The guy was coming at 64, 5 miles an hour, and it is what it is.
Did he have a stroke or something, or is it just?
We don't know.
Nobody knows.
Don't know. It's all under investigation at this time. But
he not only hit you two, he hit some other cars also, right?
Yeah, and that's when he hit the car in front of us is when it flipped or something and hit us. And
okay,
again, it could happen to where you're seeing a lot of people in cars. I mean, the older cars, we don't have a lot of airbags or anything like that. Yeah. So it just some of us don't even have but a lap seat belt, and if you even have that. Mm-hmm. So it's just something to, just beware where you're riding. One thing, even at nighttime, the deer are running. We took a lot of their homes. We've developed a lot of land out there to where they keep breeding. I swear a lot of people keep giving up hunting, and there's just not as many hunters out there taking care of a lot of these deer. There's a lot of big dogs that just don't like a Harley or a bike coming down the street. Yeah. They don't like the sound and the rumble.
No. Scares them.
You see people, dogs running out. So it could be anything, really. Yeah. And so I just tell people just, be careful. I mean, I know you are anyway, but try to be extra careful, because in today's day and age, we're getting so many people that are just getting in wrecks because they're just not paying attention. And it's just, you have to be looking for them. And we're just hoping that, everybody could be safer. You're just hearing about too many people passing away on bikes, car accidents,
a lot of it.
And stuff like that.
I want you to think of the scenario real quick. And I put it to the test years ago. When I was growing up, I had a lead foot. I still have a lead foot, but not as bad. But, if you want to go from one place, point A to point B, if you go up there 10 miles an hour over the speed limit, and then you take the trip back at the speed limit, you're saving maybe 30 seconds. Is that really worth it? With all the risk you take, you might save 30 seconds doing it. I mean, maybe a minute, nothing out of the ordinary. It's not worth doing that. And losing some line of sight, losing your attention, speeding, you could kill somebody. So, you got to think of that. It's not saving you any time.
Are you still riding, Mark?
No, I'm done.
You're done
with that. Yeah. And I don't, like I said, a lot of my friends are going to ride. I'm just looking for a rag top, and I'm just going to either be out in front of them, leading the way for them, or sitting in the back like I used to be on the bike. I just like watching them go, and I just follow around. But I'm just going to give that up and go to four wheels and hope for the best.
Maybe a tank or something. It's got some metal for it.
49 Ford I want to get.
Nice.
I'm still having trouble getting that on the road, just parts problems and stuff like that. So I'm going to be cruising that baby as much as possible. And it just takes time to make it right so it's ready for the road.
Yeah. Now you have you have got an insurance. Didn't you have a sedan delivery or something?
It's my panel truck, my 49 Ford panel.
Nice.
And it just, we're having issues with some of the parts and trying to get the last things we need. And it's just been a big problem. Like all of you guys know, I mean, what used to be readily available is unavailable, or maybe a year, 6 months, 3 months.
Yeah.
I think you ought to put a Coyote motor in that thing there, Mark.
I've been told that a lot.
Yeah. I won't have to worry about parts.
We got a new transmission motor, everything on it ready. We're just having to wait on some other parts to make it, dependable.
Yeah. We get it.
It just trying to find them. It's been tough. It's been a whole nother year of it just waiting on the parts to come all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a problem. I mean, it's that way with everything. They're building a house up 2 houses down from my house, and they're almost finished, but they're waiting on garage doors that are like 6 months out. Like, there's a house that's done. They don't have any garage doors on it because they can't get them. So that's a real issue these days. Mark, any suggestions? If you're getting we'll touch on the insurance real quick. Getting insurance for a motorcycle rider, what's your basic, what do you suggest that, for your classic motorcycles, even your street bikes or anything like that?
Okay. A lot of people, it's so bizarre that people will go ahead and insure their autos for, like, say, most of the people still have 100, 300,000 liability limits.
Yeah, right.
We run everybody at $250,000, $500,000 right off the bat at a minimum of my agency. And, plus we recommend a $1 million umbrella over their home, autos, and bikes, everything else. But a lot of people have state minimum on their motorcycles because they just, everybody's trying to save money. Yeah. But a lot of people just don't understand what they're choosing. They never were educated. They got full coverage. They have, state approved coverages. But like in my case, I mean, it's like, hey, who knows what my bills are? They could be $1 million right now. Mm-hmm. Okay. And if somebody had a quarter or 25,000 and 50,000 our state minimum, that didn't even cover the helicopter ride. Okay. So these are things I try to educate people on, whether it's your hot rod going down the road, whether it's under construction build, that a lot of people are building cars that they've painted them. They've got everything brand new, but they don't have any insurance on them. I have that under construction insurance that we could go ahead and put on while you're building it. We'll keep adding 10, 15 grand increments as you need it. Maybe sometimes it's a $20,000 interior job. We don't know, but I'll grow with you with the car because so many times a fire happens. A lot of people say, well, I'm just going to keep the cars out back. And a good friend of mine lost several of them in one fire this year. And it added up to like almost 70 grand about. And it's just, you just never think it's going to happen to you. Like I never thought I'd be in my position either, but life happens to all of us. So just sit down and make sure you have the right coverages in mind today. Whether it be if a lot of golfers are out there golfing, their home insurance, most people have 300 grand and it's only $35 to go to like $1 million. Okay. Why not have that extra? If you have a pool, a hot tub, stuff like that, a pond, have that extra coverage because it's not that much money, but when something happens, then, lawsuits happen and things like that. And you just want to be protected and not have to worry about it.
So if my hot rod is sitting in the garage and the house catches fire and everything, and I have fire insurance, I'm all set, right?
On your car?
On my car,
as long as your car has the fire and theft, at least.
How about the house? Would the house insurance cover that? No, it doesn't cover that at all.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Even if you have a four-wheeler, a side-by-side and all that, that does not cover. Now, if you're in a farm setting and it could be a farm vehicle and that, as we do a lot of the farms, we could get some of those things covered under farm use, but on a regular individual policy, you need a four-wheeler policy. You need a golf cart policy. Like a lot of people, even at the campground, they have golf carts and they're driving them out on the street, but you need regular car insurance on the street legal golf carts. Mm-hmm. And I mean, things happen. People are going down the campground, drinking beer usually or something. A little kid or a dog runs out and you turn real quick. Your friend falls out of the cart and hits his head on the ground. People run each other's ankles over with the golf cart. They thought it would stop in time, but they just borrowed it off the neighbor. I see so many different things that happen each and every year. We just try to sit down and have a conversation, make sure we could show you what it's going to be to protect yourself, but you're the boss. Pick what you want, pick what you believe is the right package for you. And I'm not going to argue with you. I'll just show you what I think you should have, and then we'll negotiate on what you want to have because you're the boss paying for it.
Yeah, let me touch on something here. And there's a lot of people out there with no insurance. And, we've had that. And it's not that bad to get even a basic policy, right, Mark? You've got to have something. You've got to have something.
1 out of 4. Remember, think of that number. Every 4 to 5 cars you see in Ohio, 1 doesn't have insurance. So when you go to some areas, we know maybe 5, maybe 6, who knows? I mean,
that's illegal, isn't it?
Well, it is, but a lot of people
doesn't matter.
They'll take the fine and everything first.
Right. And if you don't have anything, then you're not going to insure anything. You're going to drive an old wreck around, and if you hit somebody or something else goes bad, so what?
Then somebody hit me with no insurance before, and guess who has to cover it? Yeah, you're underinsured motorist. You have to cover it, and then and it's frustrating, and it's got to be frustrating for Mark and these other agents that have to actually come to bat for the people that aren't insured. People like us that are insured, we get hit, and then it's a whole new. It puts it up a different level to get coverage.
Yeah, I'd like to touch on this a little bit. We had 3 members within the past month. We have 71 Nova, a guy come out of side street, T-boned him. Okay, he's had this car forever. The car took off. Okay, so it was a hit and run. They ran the plate. The plate came out of a car that was supposed to be in the impound lot. Okay,
So they stole it.
Okay, so that was number 1. Number 2, we had a Turbo Buick guy got rear-ended, not once, but twice in a week.
Oh, jeez.
And then another member. It was a bad month for our members. Dodge Viper, sitting in traffic, and somebody from behind plowed into that car, plowed into him, pushed him into the guy in front of him.
Oh, yikes.
No insurance on the Viper wreck.
And guess who got insurance? Yeah, and then guess who gets to cover it? Mark, I got a question for you. On that situation, if a car rear ends 3 cars behind you and everybody bumps into everybody, who's covering that? Where does that fall on everybody's coverage?
You know what? The investigations start and they go down the line to see who's at fault. Obviously, the guy or person that started it's going to be first. Mm-hmm. But then they're just where were the other cars positioned? It gets so ugly at times. Just make sure you have enough coverage. And I highly recommend the umbrella to everybody because, when the hospital bills and everything are just astronomical anymore. And so it starts as a domino effect. You have a lot of phantom situations to where I highly recommend people to have a dash camera in the front and back because you will see if somebody starts to come at you, who's the better negotiating, talking person to the cop or the state highway patrolman. Mm-hmm. If they have a better story than you do, it could be their fault 100%. But if they if you didn't know how to talk as well and didn't give as much information the right way, it could be, your fault and it wasn't your fault. So I see so many people, they're just a victim of a circumstance. Right. And we just got to go ahead. And I've been wanting these cameras for a while. They're like $600 at Audio Extreme or they're the good ones. They'll record for like 30 days. So like if something did happen and somebody turns you in a week or 2 later, you're still good. To go ahead and show, or if the cop's even saying you went left to center, you could actually prove that you maybe didn't. Okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously if if he said that or she said that, those cameras do help a lot of people anymore.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, tell me about classic insurance on cars. That's pretty cheap, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I mean,
classic car insurance.
You can start at like, not even $100 a year for a car, around 10 grand. I mean, even when we have, I just wrote like a $400,000, total resto ride. I mean, and it's like 1,500, $2,000. But you're talking for custom everything.
Yeah,
right.
But I mean, it's very inexpensive. Even if you buy a like brand new Camaro, Corvette, Mustang, we have modern classic insurance to where we'll guarantee that value for 3 years. Okay. And then like some of the Hellcats and that Demons, everything else, they've held that value. Some of them have went up. We're going to ask for a new appraisal on the modern classics after 3 years, but it's just something that, let's make sure if you're only driving that car, like to car shows and you're going to baby it forever, these car prices drop. We want to make sure you have the right coverage and everything. And we're here to just help give you some numbers. If you like them, fine. If you don't, let me just educate you on what I do is what I tell people, down to the life insurance and Medicare and everything else. So it's what we do. We just we have a whole different job to help people out with, but I love having fun with people. Like I tell them all, hey, if we do business, that's great. If we don't do business, we're still buddies, and I'll just look at what you have and tell you go there if it's better. I'll be honest with everybody.
Hey, Mark, my Z4, I put it away for the winter. I just put fire on it. Is that smart?
Well, do you have an agreed value on that when you do that?
Okay.
I would say you
Guess
don't,
not.
because I know you don't. And, so if you, right now, to be honest with everybody, the way the Corvette prices came back and everything.
I got Z4 BMW, Z4 BMW. Yeah, good.
Oh, okay. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. All cars came back with the higher value. Everything's going up. Okay. So it's just one of those things. I tell you, agree on the guaranteed value, because what are you going to get? The insurance companies want to give you the lowest amount they could give you. Obviously, how nice is your car? Okay. And most of the time when we go ahead and put it on that modern classic policy or it's going to save you money anyway. But you want to be able to guarantee go buy a new one that day or find something sort of close to it, because some people just want to save money, and it's fine. But it's, some people lose 20, 30 grand to where when they try to buy this car again next month, next year, it's not available because
So it's called a modern classic policy.
That's for cars 25 years and newer.
Okay.
And a classic antique are 25 years and over.
Okay.
So,
I've got a question about
super cheap
motorcycling insurance and stuff. Mark, I don't know whether it's just been it's been a bad year, but I've had a lot of friends that have been involved in accidents. The number one accident for a motorcyclist is somebody turning it left in front of them. That's the number one. But I've also had friends hit from behind. And what I'd like you to talk about is how to protect yourself if you get a person that has either no insurance or the barest minimum. You're sitting there with $300,000-$400,000 worth of hospital bills. Maybe you can't work for a year. Maybe you can't work at all. When you're structuring a policy for a motorcyclist, how do you educate him on how to protect yourself from the medical bills? Like, okay, say you've got $50,000 worth of medical coverage, and the other guy that hits you has only got $25,000. Well, you get his 25, you got your 50. What are you going to do with the other 400,000 that's still going to be owed? So, how do you educate people about that?
Well, we show them letters actually to show them when you're in that position. The insurance company will tell you you've reached your limit of liability. Where would you like us to send this to? You have to seek counsel on your own, dime at this time. So, I try to show people, most people don't like to buy the umbrellas, okay, because it's to start for who you hurt. So say you're home and auto. You hurt somebody really bad. It exhausted all your $500,000 worth of the auto coverage, or say you're even golfing, hit somebody in the head, put them in a hospital like that. Right. They exhaust that $500,000 on the home. You could buy the $1 million umbrella that covers the people who you hurt. But what I tell everybody in the motorcycles and cars and everything, buy the uninsured umbrella too, just in case, because it gives you that extra $1 million on both sides. And this is what we tell people, even if they don't have a motorcycle, because you just got to be safe. It costs you an extra, say $18-20 a month for an umbrella. If you're not, now, if you have boats, motorcycles, campers and four-wheelers and all that, it's going to be a little bit more. But then when you add the uninsured side, you just double what it is to take care of the people you hurt.
Well, the problem you have, Mark, and you, as you full well know, when you're on a motorcycle and somebody hits you, it's the huge amount of medical expenses to get you back on your feet. Could be months, could be a year, could be permanent injuries, and that's why I wanted you to address that part of it. Just like if a guy's talking to you about a policy on a motorcycle, and he is looking at this, that, do you talk to him direct about, hey, you got to look at if somebody hits you, especially around here, and maybe 1 out of 4 cars don't have insurance. They don't have insurance. You're only going to be insured for what you're insured for medically wise. If your insurance bills goes above that, then there's a problem.
Right. And people think, well, then my health care will cover it. Or a lot of people say, well, I don't have anything anyway, so I'm not worried about it. Okay. A lot of people tell me, we have the talk with everybody about the umbrella, and it's just one of those things that people mostly don't want to pay the extra money. Just like whether it's cars, boats, whatever, they want the cheapest price. People aren't realizing even a boat, you get out there on the lake, you're coming into the dock, people's fingers are hanging over.
Oh my God. Yeah.
God.
That almost happened to a friend. Yeah.
Oh,
you're
God.
fishing. You fish and you catch. You go to cast and you hook somebody's eyeball behind you and rip their eye out.
Oh my God.
These things happen. But if you don't have the rate, like I say, have high medical, like 25,000 on your car at a minimum, but it costs you another $30 a half to have that. Or on the motorcycles, the boats, like I just told you about that. A lot of people fish, water, fishy, fish coming in. It makes the deck slippery and everything. People fall, bust a head, blow a hip. I mean, we've had friends of mine that are charter captains. We've had lawsuits. People just try to, see what they could get. Okay, right. And go from there. So it's a sick world. Just protect yourself and see what we could do.
And if I could just address one more thing, and I know that there are situations when you ride in a motorcycle, and I've ridden a long time. I've gone road raced. I've gone to competition schools to keep my rider skills up, and I ride a lot to keep them up. But there are sometimes times that, like you said, you don't know. You just don't know, and you get hit. And the only thing I can tell people that are listening or watching is that you can't do any better than get into these rider education classes, whether it's the basic or you start to get up into the advanced. And once you've gone and completed the advanced, then start, going to a track day, because you'll learn a lot about how to handle your motorcycle. They make you go around the track and you can only keep it in one gear. So now you got to figure out, what to do. It's just a lot of good things. And I, for one, I've been riding, oh my God, since I'm 13, I'm 71. And I ride a lot, but I can tell you that I had an incident where I didn't check, and I always get my head over my shoulder because there's always maybe a car there and you don't see it, and you go out and you get punted. And that almost happened to me about 2 months ago, where I just got lazy, didn't check, and moved over a little bit. Thank God I only moved maybe about 2 foot into the lane. And this guy doing about 90 up in New York just went by me like a rocket ship. And if he'd have hit me, I'd have been dead. So, rider education, I think, is extremely important, and dealing with guys like you that understand the coverages, and more importantly, understand what you're going to lose, what your liabilities are if you don't insure enough to protect yourself, your family, and all your property. And I'm glad you're healthy and you're on the mend in that. And it just made me feel good to hear that you were on the mend, and sad and sick that the other thing happened though.
Yeah, last time we go ahead, Mark.
No, it'll be a long while before everything's back to normal. But also, like on Larry, we have that classic motorcycle, like the classic car insurance, the classic motorcycle, because you have these old Indians and old shufflehead Harleys and all that we guarantee those at the true value. And some of those bikes I have at $50,000-$60,000. Some of them a little bit more, to where, again, the price is super cheap. But I know we didn't talk about that classic motorcycle, but wanted to bring that up. But go ahead, Rick.
The last time we saw you at the Jerry Dixie tour there in Columbiana County, you were pretty rough there. Now you're looking good now after that accident. So you were looking really good.
Years ago when we talked about insurance and that, nobody ever said, well, what's the agreed upon value? And that's a big thing. I mean, that's a big thing now. When you establish an agreed upon value, Mark, what are the steps that you take to make sure that that particular thing you're insuring for that particular amount of money is indeed worth that amount of money?
A lot of times, anything like right around the $40,000, $50,000 mark, we could go ahead and make that decision together with the underwriters. They know about what that car, they're like an appraiser themselves. But anything over that amount, we're going to get a third party, so we could have 3 people that agree on it, and we never have to worry about it. Same with the custom motorcycles.
Right.
Yeah, it might cost $100 to get an appraisal, a little over $100. But now you have a true appraisal that we have a lot of great local guys that could give those to you, and basically let you know truly what that bike's worth, because sometimes it blows people's minds because they just never knew that bike came back and it's worth that much money. They just owned it 35 years and just figured it's worth a couple grand. But in reality, a lot of them get shocked when it's worth like 25 grand or something.
What appraisers do you work with, Mark?
Wait, Dave Bialski up here is one of them.
Mike Clem.
Cleveland area, Mike Clem over that works with him, Jason down in Lisbon area. But it could be anybody, Ronnie Latone, Superior Auto Body, so it could be anybody that they want to go to. We will even allow the shops, if it's custom upholstery, like Mongoose and everybody could do the appraisals because they know the cars inside and out. And, so these are things that we just, if you're building a car, some of the builders, Niles Autobot, we use them a lot for the appraisals too. So there's a lot of good guys out there that understand and know what they're doing. And you just got to go out and, make sure you do your homework and, really put some time in it because these cars are they're increasing in value and a lot of people don't even know it.
Well, we're running out of time, because Mark, how can people get a hold of you? Check out Mark Cole. He's webbed into all the car and motorcycle
everything
around here. So, Mark, how can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, you could just call the office at 330-953-1308. It'll roll to our client service center. If you want to go to markcoleagency.com or, just call us. My cell's even 330-720-0381. I'm here to just help you guys with any insurance type needs down to the Medicare and everything because it's open enrollment coming up here soon.
There we go. And Shawn, let's touch again right on the Hollywood Nights car show that's coming up that we'll be out there shooting for Street Scene. And we hope to get more than 200 cars that you kind of almost didn't expect last year. So let's talk about that.
It was quite a surprise, and the 200 car mark, we don't charge anything for registration, but it is a donation based, so we did have people give $1. Some gave $5, some gave $20. So it all averages out.
Now, where does that go? Where the funds go to again?
That goes to Angels for Animals.
Perfect. And date and time on the show again, Hollywood Nights?
Yeah, it's September 25th, 11 to 3 at the 1112 Union Hall. I did write down, of course, I lost the paper already.
Up on my Lordstown there. So
yeah, in Lordstown here. If you go out in Lordstown, we are going to have signs at every major intersection.
There you go.
That's it.
So you can't miss that. We're going to wrap up the show here. Thanks so much, Mark, for joining us again. We're glad you're doing well.
And, very well. You're looking good, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Good.
Shawn, thanks for tuning us in with the Hollywood Night Show. Everybody head up to that one.
Absolutely.
For Larry Ward, Rick Guerrera, I'm Greg Roten.
We'll see you down
the road.